In the heart of New York City, where dreams move as fast as the subway trains and ambition fills the air, lived a man named Adrian Cole, respected, admired, and well known across the corporate world. He was the kind of man whose presence turned heads. Always in fine suits, always confident, always ready with the perfect words. To everyone around him, Adrian was the image of success. He spoke on leadership panels, appeared in business magazines, and his name carried influence. But behind the applause and charm, his assistant, Clara, saw what others didn't: the cracks behind the confidence. The arrogance hidden beneath a smile. The way he dismissed people once he no longer needed them. Because reputation, you see, can be built on appearance. But character cannot. Then came the day that tested both. Adrian's firm, a major financial institution in Manhattan, faced a sudden crisis. Millions of dollars were missing from a charity development fund. The news spread quickly. Meetings turned tense. Fingers pointed in every direction. And when pressure mounted, Adrian did what came naturally: he protected his image first. He accused Emmanuel Okafor, a quiet accountant who had worked faithfully for years. Emmanuel wasn't popular or loud. He didn't dress to impress. He just did his work, carefully, honestly, and consistently. But when the accusation came, the world turned against him instantly. The media ran with the story: a young accountant involved in financial fraud. Social media buzzed. His reputation crumbled in a day. Colleagues who once smiled at him now avoided his gaze. Even in his small church in the Bronx, whispers began to grow. But Emmanuel. He didn't fight back. He didn't run. He didn't try to defend himself online. He simply said, "If I keep quiet long enough, the truth will speak for me." So he gathered every file, every email, and every document he had, and handed them to the investigators. Not to prove he was right, but because that's who he had always been. While Adrian gave polished interviews about the unfortunate incident, Emmanuel worked quietly with the auditors, guiding them to the smallest details others had missed. And then, slowly, the truth began to surface. The missing funds were traced, not to Emmanuel, but to Adrian's private offshore accounts. Every fake signature, every secret transfer, every lie he built to protect himself, all uncovered. When the company released its final report, Adrian's world collapsed overnight. His name, once spoken with admiration, was now met with disgust. Those who once cheered for him now crossed the street to avoid him. His reputation, built for years, vanished in a single day. Emmanuel, on the other hand, walked into the office the next week quietly. He didn't gloat. He didn't remind anyone of their silence. When someone asked how he stayed calm, he smiled and said, "The truth always takes longer, but it always arrives." A few weeks later, the board promoted him, head of finance. Not because of what people thought, but because of who he truly was. Adrian eventually left New York to start over, but reputation travels faster than any plane. And this time, it traveled in the wrong direction. Years later, when young professionals in the city talked about honesty and strength, Emmanuel's name still came up, not on headlines, not on screens, but in quiet respect. Because character, unlike reputation, doesn't shout. It whispers through consistent actions. It's the reason some names fade quickly, while others live long after they're gone. When storms come, reputation scatters like dust in the wind. But character, true character, stands like a rock that no fire can destroy. So when life gives you the choice between being seen and being true, remember this: reputation may open doors, but only character will keep them open. Because in the end, when the crowd forgets, when the lights of the city go off, and when the applause fades, one thing remains unshaken. Character outlives reputation. Always. At Geraldinho Stories, we believe stories are more than entertainment, they're mirrors of the soul. If this message spoke to you, spread it. Like, share, and subscribe, and let's keep telling stories that touch hearts and change lives.